Have you ever heard the claim that there's a shortage of labor? Think about it. On a planet with billions of people, how could there possibly be a lack of workers? The truth is, what's really in short supply isn't labor. It's poor people. Because only when people are desperate will they sell their time, their bodies, or even their souls. To create more labor, the system needs to create more poverty. And not just poverty, debt-ridden poverty. Throughout history, debt has been a powerful tool of control. In ancient times, many slaves became enslaved because they couldn't repay debts. Today, things haven't changed much. If someone is well-fed, debt-free, and financially stable, why would they willingly sell their labor for scraps? The solution? It's simple. Burden everyone with debt. A 30-year mortgage for a home. Crushing medical bills. Skyrocketing education costs. Add the fear of a retirement without savings. This ensures that people stay in a constant state of pressure, forced to work tirelessly just to survive. In the eyes of the system, it's not about how much money you make. It's about ensuring your pockets are always empty. That's how your time, energy, and even dignity are bought for the lowest possible price. Imagine a world where housing was affordable, where working a couple of years could buy you a home. Would people still grind themselves into the ground, working overtime and tolerating exploitation? Probably not. But when your next mortgage or car payment looms over you, submission becomes the only option. It wasn't always this way. Communities once thrived with connections and self-reliance. But now, most of us don't even know our neighbors. The modern economy has stripped us down to isolated individuals, each carrying an invisible burden of debt, fear, and obligation. It's like being a cog in a massive machine, fueling its progress while we ourselves are left behind. Do you ever wonder why your life seems to revolve entirely around work? Why every milestone, marriage, having children, even mourning a loved one, has to fit into the time off approved by your employer? Look around at the young people today. Instead of being full of hope and energy, they look defeated, like inmates serving time. Go to a hospital, and you'll see the waiting rooms filled with people who are far too young to be so sick. We've all become like oxen tied to invisible chains. Oxen pull the plow because they fear pain. We pull ours because we fear poverty. The system thrives because we've accepted a life of endless toil, just to achieve the bare minimum. What's worse is that the very people responsible for creating these problems are often the ones pretending to solve them. Whether it's housing costs, healthcare reform, or education affordability, the cycle is the same. A temporary outcry, a moment of attention, and then everything goes back to the way it was. Because the goal isn't to fix the problem. The goal is to perpetuate it. This isn't a coincidence. For the elite, the greatest resource isn't oil, gold, or any natural material. It's the endless supply of poor people. Poverty fuels the system. The capitalist playbook is clear. Improve living conditions just enough to raise expectations, then inflate costs to keep people chasing an ever-moving finish line. In the end, the wealthy don't need to work harder. They need only to keep the masses in a state of constant struggle. By the time we've sold off our time, energy, dignity, and even our conscience, they've already won. And when we're finally spent, they have the audacity to say, "Look at the better life we've given you." Remember this. True wealth isn't built through hard labor. It's built through strategy. The rich understand human nature, and they use it to tilt the game in their favor. If you don't see the game for what it is, you'll always be a pawn. Ask yourself, are you playing the game, or are you being played? It's time to look up and see the bigger picture. Learn the rules of the game, understand human nature, and take control of your own life. Because if you don't, someone else will.